Hello and welcome to music and welcome to a little storytime video about my weekend down in London. So I was at the Third Man Records London opening and one of the Secret Jack White shows. I'm going to tell you all about my experience right now. And if you guys were there, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experience of the day too. So it all started months ago when I received this postcard and it said Absurd Scam Records. I had no idea what it was, but on further investigation the colour scheme looked very much like Third Man Records, and I couldn't think of any other way that my email address and my postal address had been shared. So looking into it further, it seemed that that was the case. A lot of people posting online were saying that it was a Third Man Records thing, and eventually it was confirmed to be Third Man Records London. So on September the 25th, I got on the train down to London at 5 in the morning, had a breakfast when I got there, and then joined the queue. So I joined the priority queue for Vault members, which was actually longer than the general queue. Now that's one negative that I will discuss about the day. We were supposed to be getting priority over the general admission, but unfortunately the Vault members queue was like way longer than the general admission, so they started letting in like general admission people, like one person, and then like few more from the Vault Club, so it took absolutely ages for us to get in. I was queuing from 9 in the morning till about, I think it must have been about 2 o'clock. It was certainly some time after 2. It was nearly 6 hours that I was queuing all in and in the shop. So it took a long time, but thankfully there was some cool people in the line next to me, and I'm going to shout them out now. I don't know whether they were watching the video, but there was Helen and Tom, who were super cool, and Stephen as well. I don't know if he'll be watching, but it was really a pleasure to be in the queue with you guys. You kept me entertained all day long. And that's the beautiful thing about these things. You meet people that are like-minded, you have great conversations, and you make new friends. So eventually I got into Third Man Records London, waited 6 hours, and I got about half an hour in the shop. And the way that they were doing it was they were saying that people that wanted the exclusive content, so there were some records that were exclusive, they had to go immediately to the counter and get that, and then they could have a look around the shop. If you just wanted to like look around and pick up some like general bits, then you could do that sort of at your leisure. So I immediately went for the John Peel sessions, which I have here in the packaging still. So that is what I really wanted, and that's what I got. Happy that I picked it up. I did used to have this on bootleg years and years ago, but now I've got it on an official release. I also got my white striped socks that I've been wanting to get for like 2 years, and they never had them in stock. I think they released them like 2 Christmases ago, and I've always wanted the peppermint socks, so I was really pleased to see them there in the store. Now another little negative that I do have to say, this isn't all positive, you know, I am, you know, a Jack White fanboy, many would say, but I do have to point out some of the negatives. So as I said, the queuing, it took too long, and like we didn't get the priority that we were sort of promised. The other negative that I want to speak about is the fact that it was so expensive. I mean, I only got a record, the John Peel record, and a pair of socks. I don't know if they charged me for the tote bag that I got, which is here. I'm not sure if there was a charge for this, but all in, that cost me £51, which is crazy expensive. I heard that the record was 35. Now, okay, if it's a special sort of limited edition thing, that's fair enough, but that means that the socks must have been 15 quid, but I don't know if I was charged for the tote bag. Anyone that was there that can let me know, but it does seem like it's really expensive. So that's a bit of a shame. Once I'd got my items, I had a little browse around the store, and it's not big. I'm going to put some of the images up here for you guys to see. There's a little telephone booth in the colour scheme of Third Man. It said Hello Operator on it, which was pretty cool. I wanted to go in it, but it was just so squashed in with people that I didn't want to, you know, cause a fuss. There was lots of like posters and memorabilia scattered about, Lego blocks that you can actually buy. I noticed there were some puzzle pieces that you can buy as well, some jigsaws. And then I went downstairs to see the Blue Room, the live room, so similar to the Nashville live room. The only thing is that this is a lot smaller than the Nashville live room. Of course, I went to the Nashville store 9 years ago now, so I have seen both, although I haven't seen all of the Nashville store because they did extend it a week after I got home. So yeah, in the live room there was a stage set up for the band to play later, which I will tell you about, but also obviously this is where the performances are going to be going forward. And it was quite a small stage. There should be a picture on screen, and yeah, it looks a little tight, but you know, a bit intimate, gives it a little intimate edge. So it looked like you could fit about 30 people maybe into this room. It wasn't exactly the biggest. There was a little guitar area set up with some of the Third Man pedals, and it was off to the side, and it was showing off like the capabilities of some of the Third Man pedals on a TV next to it. And I wasn't sure if we were allowed to go on this, but it looked like it was set up for people to use. I was too scared to have a go on it. I didn't bother in the end. I wish I had done, but anyway, maybe sometime in the future, because one thing is I will be going back to this store whenever I'm in London, definitely. So that was it. I had a little look round. Obviously, you know, it wasn't a great deal to take in. There was the book deposit thing, I don't know what they call it. Again, I'll put a photograph on there. But really cool, lovely little intimate space in Soho, near Carnaby Street. And yeah, impressive storefront, like the whole yellow, decked out the yellow, and with the Third Man logo. But that was it. I did about 30 minutes in the store, and I thought it's time to let the others in, because they were shooting at 5. I think I got in sort of between 2 and 3, and yeah, there was still a massive queue to get in. Now at this point we had been hearing rumours all day that there was possibly going to be a secret show by Jack White, and we'd been sleuthing on Instagram and various other social media sites to see if everyone was in London, and we figured out that indeed Jack was in London, as were Dominic and Daru, who are sort of like the power trio now from the group, which I'm really hoping is the group that he takes out on the next tour. Also Olivia was there, who, you know, recently they sort of officially announced that they were together. It's been sort of an open secret that those two were dating for a while, but now it's official, and she was there as well. And of course both Bens were there, and they were the ones that were looking after the queue, coming and talking to the crowd, and they were really cool. They knew that it was taking so long to get everyone through, and people weren't getting too shitty about it, but like the Bens were coming along and chatting with the crowd and having conversations. I thought that was really cool. So everyone was there. Something must have been going on, right? We found out that the first 40 people in the line got a little blue ticket, similar to those that they give when you buy tickets to Blue Room shows in Nashville, and it said, "For your eyes only, come back at 5:45 in front of the store." So we hung about, but all the time we'd been queuing up, we noticed on this big blue building down the road from the Third Man Records store, sort of at the street end, the T-junction thing, there was like movement up there, and it was sort of like there was a curtain across the railing, and it was all a bit fishy, and we were thinking something's going on up there. Is it going to be a show up there? Then we started hearing like people had been told to come back at 6:30, and Helen, who was stood with us in the queue, she noticed that there was 4 little boxes covered over, and we sort of deduced that they must be speakers. So now we were thinking there's got to be another show as well as the Blue Room show. Then some people started turning up and filming what was going on. They filmed me in the store singing along to some of the White Stripes songs, because when we were in the store they had like records on, so I was singing along in line. I'm hoping that makes it into whatever release they do for this. I think this is going to be a future Vault release, the 2 live shows that were done, and sort of like the store opening and whatnot, but we'll wait and see on that. But yeah, basically Jack White turned up at 5:45. They let in the 40 people, so it was 40 people. I don't know how they fit them in. Very small space downstairs. They got in for a little secret show. Jack and Olivia came down the street holding hands. The band members followed him in, and he played a show downstairs in the Blue Room. Now, Third Man staff were nice enough to open the doors to the store so that we could kind of hear what was being played, but it was sort of under where we were, and you could hear what was being played. I think he started with Hello Operator. I think he played A Cut Like a Buffalo, and I think he finished on Icky Thump. Don't think it was a super long set. It must have been really warm down there. Yeah, I think those were the 3 songs played. If you were down there, let me know if there was any more played, but from what we could hear upstairs, that's what it sounded like. So we kind of got to hear it, but it was like kind of muffled. It wasn't, you know, exactly the live show experience that you would want. And then at about sort of, I can't think when it was sort of 6:20, we saw the security guards sort of telling people to move back off the street and clear a route, and at this time I knew we were getting this show from a balcony, and a lot of people had theorised that the reason that there was going to be a show on the balcony or on a rooftop was because the Beatles had done the same back in the 60s in the same area, so that was the theory there, and it did come true. once the show was finished, Jack and the band scooted over to the other building, which we later found out was Damien Hirst's building. I don't know what he uses it for, but the balcony was indeed set up as a stage. Jack White appeared on top of a balcony on top of this building. It was crazy. It will go down as one of the best live shows I will ever see. Certainly one of the most unique live shows I will ever see. Now the problem for me was I had a train at 7:30, so I was panicking thinking I'm going to miss my train here, because it took them a little while to sort of set up still. Even though they'd been setting up all day, they sort of had to do like a minimal sort of sound check, I guess. They had to bring the guitars up from the store and things like that, so it did take a little while, and I think they started playing at about 7:10, maybe a little bit later, because they didn't finish till 7:15. It might have even been 7:45 that they started. And yeah, Jack appeared. He was so happy the whole day. Like every time he'd come past everyone, he was super smiley and really friendly and waving hello to everyone. He appeared up on this balcony. It was crazy. They unfurled like a long, like a banner with a Third Man London logo on it, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. So we were treated to one of the most special and unique shows I think I'll ever see in my life. So it was a 5-song set. I knew it wouldn't be super long because I don't even know how they got permission to do this. I'm assuming the council must have let them do it. It was really loud. I thought, this isn't going to be a super loud show, you know, the sound might be pretty crappy from up there. It was mega loud, like I couldn't believe it. So he started with Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, a classic opener for the White Stripes over the years, a classic opener for Jack White himself. Really great to hear that again, because of course I haven't seen Jack White live now for like 3 years, I think. So it's been a little while, and I was just so buzzing to be able to see him live again. It was the 19th time that I've seen him now across all of his bands, closing in on that 20. Yeah, started with Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground. That was followed by Lazaretto, which actually was played in, he sort of played this in a different way. He didn't play it in the traditional way. It was weird to hear that, but it was still really cool. But yeah, played it sort of differently, which was interesting. And he had a really good end as well, like a little face-off with Daru. And that sort of harkened back to like the White Stripes days where he used to go over to like Meg White and they would sort of battle each other with their instruments, and that was really cool to see. The third song was Steady As She Goes, obviously probably the Raconteurs' most well-known song, and that was really cool. A lot of crowd involvement there. That was when he started getting like the crowd into it. They were down on the street, started to get them to clap and make noises and things. Then this was followed by arguably my favourite White Stripes song, We're Gonna Be Friends, and he opened it with such a funny line about London, we're gonna be friends. My new neighbours here, we're going to be friends, but hopefully we don't piss you off. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not going to get it exact, but yeah, he basically said about like not pissing off the locals. But all the guys like in the buildings nearby were hanging out of their windows watching the show. There was people on the roof of another building. I don't think they cared one bit. So that was really cool. I get emotional at We're Going to Be Friends. I don't know why. It's like sort of arguably my favourite song in the White Stripes roster. I think it sort of perfectly sort of shows what the band were about and why I like them so much. It's about childhood and about the memories of like being at school with your friends and things like that, and I don't know, like it always gets me. And anyway, to close out, we got obviously Seven Nation Army, and the whole street was singing along. It was amazing. Everyone just had a massive smile on their face. Crazy show to just be there in a street watching someone on a building's balcony. Unbelievable stuff. Jack even stopped playing at one point to let us do the line from the song, and he was singing along to it, which he often does, but it felt even better like in that moment. And then that was it. 5-song set, really cool. Unbelievable show. I don't think I'll ever top seeing something like that. It would have to be probably Jack White himself again. I don't know of many other artists that do these crazy sort of shows. Of course, secret shows are kind of a staple of Jack White, going right back to the White Stripes. He's played in bowling alleys and on boats and things. So, but this was so cool, and everyone left with like a super happy expression. So it was well worth it. I was on my feet for over 10 hours. But I got to meet new friends, experience one of the greatest live shows I've ever seen, and yeah, it's certainly going to be a moment that I'll take all the way to my grave. But I want to know if you guys were there, if any of you guys were there, and if you weren't there, comment as well to sort of, if you want more information. I'm sure there's a few bits that I've glossed over here during this little story time, but yeah, I was so happy. I missed my train in the end as well, guys, but fortunately the one of the later trains, they let me on and I didn't need to pay any extra money, so that was all good in the end. But yeah, what an experience. I'll see you in the next video.